Hi guys, my name is Peter and welcome to a new video. And in this video, I'll be talking about the dot map method. And what you're watching right now is a series of videos where I'll be talking about the various iterative method that JavaScript offers. And today, we'll be talking about dot map. So first of all, let us understand what is dot map. So dot map is an inbuilt JavaScript iterative method that goes through each and every element of an array, and for every element it calls a function. So it calls a function for each element of the array, and the most important part is that in the end the dot map method returns a new array. So if you know about the dot for each method, ideally the dot map and the dot for each method does the same. They go through each and every element of the array, but the differentiating factor is that the dot map method returns a new array in the end, whereas the dot for each returns undefined. So this is one of the differentiating factor between dot for each and dot map. There are more which I'll discuss in a second. But right now, let us do an example and really understand how dot map works. So for that, I'm going to create an array called numbers, which is going to have numbers from 1 to 5. Alright, now I'm going to create a function called as square, which is going to square the number by 2. Square numbers, it is going to take a parameter of number, and I'm going to return math.pow the number times 2. Alright, so this function is going to take a number and it is going to square the number and return. And now comes the cool part. I'm going to define another const variable called as square, and now I'm going to use the dot map method. So first of all, I need to tell what is the array in which I want to iterate. So the array is actually numbers, so I'm going to type in numbers, and I want to use a dot map method, so I'm going to type dot map, and the dot map method takes in a callback function. We have already written a function, so I'm going to copy the function name and paste it right over here. So now if you are starting out with JavaScript, you might think, how can I access this square function, because it is declared right over here and I'm kind of trying to access it before it is being declared, right? So if you don't know, there is actually a concept called as hoisting, which means that the functions will be hoisted to the top of the program, so you can access it even before it is being declared. So it is actually applicable only to functions returned like this, not for callback functions, which means that function declarations are hoisted, not function expressions. So if you don't understand it, it is perfectly fine. I just told this concept while we are at there. So that's it. Now I'm going to simply console log square, and let me run the program. And here you can see we have a new array with all the numbers squared. And there's a lot more modification that you can do to this particular code to make it a lot more simpler and cleaner. So I can remove the function from here and paste it right over here, which makes it a lot more clean. So if I run the code again, I get the same thing, and I can even make this code or function as a callback function. So what I have to do is write a callback function right over here, and it actually does the same thing. And then now the code is a lot more cleaner and simpler to understand, and that's pretty cool. And another thing that I want to tell you right now is about chaining. So before that, let me show you the definition of array in MDN. So it is pretty simple. The dot map is an iterative method. It calls a callback function once for each element in the array, and it constructs a new array from the result. So that is exactly what we have seen right now. Now the key difference between dot map and dot for each is that dot for each is also an iterative method, and it also calls a function for each and every element in the array. But unlike dot map, dot for each always returns undefined, and it is not chainable. So it is one of the most important, another differentiating factor between dot map and dot for each. That is, dot for each is not chainable. So what do you exactly mean by chainable? And that is what I'm going to show you right now. So you can see we are having 5 numbers. Now these numbers are arranged in ascending order, so that's why we got the result in ascending order as well. So I'm going to make it descending right now. Now if I run the program, you can see that I'm getting the value in descending order. But what if I want to sort these values in ascending order? And that is where the chaining method comes into the picture. So what I have to do is I can just simply chain in a dot sort method right over here. So I can see a comma b and it returns a minus b. And now if I run the program, I am having the values returned in ascending order. And this is a cool little extra feature that you get while using .map, and you can't do this chaining when you use for each. And this is another differentiating factor between .for each and .map. So guys, this was a pretty simple example of .map, how it works, and some of its differentiating factor with .for each. Alright, now it is time for example number 2. And now we are going to take a look at something which is more realistic and something which you might do in your day job or in your project or wherever you're using JavaScript. See, imagine that you made a request to your backend and your API returned dates in this particular format, that is year, month and day. Say you want to display the date in another format in the front end like day, month and year. And this can be done using the map method in simple terms. So let us simply try to do an example. So I'm going to write a function called as format dates, and it is going to take a date as an argument. And now I can use the dot split method to extract individual pieces from the date. I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to enter const splitted dates is equal to date dot split. And how do you want to configure the splitting? So I want to split by this dash so that I can get 3 different pieces. So I'm going to enter that dash right over here. Now if you know, the dot split method returns an array, and now I can access these 3 different parts via their indices, which means the year will be in index 0, the month will be in index 1, and the day will be in index 2. So I can simply return a formatted string like dollar splitted dates of 2 as the day, and I'm going to simply copy this code from here, and 1 as the month and 0 as the year. Alright, now I can create another const called as dates. So I'm running out of variable names. Dates to display is equal to the date array that I want to iterate, that is dates, and I'm going to map over it. And for each date I'm going to call the format dates method. Alright, and I'm going to simply console.log dates to display, and let us see if this code is going to work. And it worked. Here also you can sort the data, you can chain it and do a lot or multitude of operations to convert the data in the format that you want. And let me also simply write a callback function here so that the code is a lot more cleaner. So I'm going to simply copy the code from here, paste it over here, and now the code does the same thing. Alright, so that's it guys. This was a pretty simple explanation of what the .map method is, and I hope that you guys got a basic idea regarding what is .map and what are some differences between .map and .for each. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.